What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Malik Scott, Deontay Wilder, and Andy the Destroyer Ruiz. Get this, Malik Scott states that Andy Ruiz is not a tough fight for a disciplined Deontay Wilder. Wow. Of course, the head trainer of the former WBC heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder does not believe there is anyone at the weight that can beat the new and improved version of the fighter. Wilder returned to his ring last month, knocked out Elenius in one round. Of course, we know that Wilder came off 11th round KO of Tyson Fury. Great fight, good fight, very emotionally fought fight by Wilder. And a lot of times you could see that he was already out of energy. He was already sloppy. You know, he was already fatigued. You can tell he was slow because he was big. You know what I mean? The dude's shoulders were bigger than his head, literally. He put on a lot of weight. And I think that contributes to the mind games that Tyson Fury put upon him, saying that he was going to come in 300 pounds and all that. So Wilder felt, you know what, let me up the ante and start lifting weights, you know what I mean? Which wasn't a good idea because, you know, that made him slower, right? It made him more sluggish. It made him tired quicker. He was like Anthony Joshua when he set shores to America and fought at Madison Square Garden. Originally supposed to fight Jarrell Miller, but ended up fighting Andy Ruiz. But as soon as he got winded, it was over with for him, right? So Malik Scott had this to say. He says his test is the Tyson Furies of the game. I don't believe the likes of Joshua, Usyk, or Andy Ruiz. I don't think any of them come close to Deontay Wilder when he's focused and on point. I just don't. Believe it or not, with this Deontay, I don't think even Tyson Fury can beat him. He said a Deontay that's disciplined and a Deontay's on a game plan against Ruiz. Well, with all due respect, that's not a tough fight for Deontay at all, and that's saying a lot because Andy is tough. Let me counterpunch. Malik Scott is supposed to say that. Malik Scott, you know, obviously seen potential in Wilder. He's seen the power, of course, like a lot of people have witnessed that the man can punch. And based on what he did with Helenius, based on the fact that, you know, he looked faster, he got the knockout very early. A lot of people just took it and ran with it. I mean, ran with it. And what people need to understand, Wilder was, I think, was deserving of a fight with Helenius like that. You know, not a fight right back into the saddle with a tough guy or a huge name like Usyk or Joshua, you know, because, you know, he just came off a devastating knockout. And more than likely, any of those guys would try to test where he's at, you know, because the type of shots that Wilder took against Tyson Fury, he could have been like Fernando Vargas. If anybody doesn't know Fernando Vargas, he was a tough Mexican kid, former champion. He went in there, you know, with guys like Winky Wright and Ike Corte and guys like that. Early on before he got beaten, and he went up against Trinidad and got brutally knocked out, but he fought a heartfelt fight, just like how Wilder fought Tyson Fury, because, you know, he knocked him down, and needless to say, it was all in the 4th round. Bars, okay? Fernando Vargas dropped for Felix Trinidad, give you guys a history lesson, with a left hook. Whereas Wilder dropped Tyson Fury twice in the 4th round with a straight right. So, you know, and then later on in the round, or in the fight rather, you know, he was knocked out by Felix Trinidad in the 12th, okay? But it was a heartfelt back and forth action, similar to Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. And, but the next fight Fernando was in, he fought a guy, I believe, named Ramirez, a Puerto Rican fighter, and got chinned quick, and he went down instantly. So fighting someone like Helenius was a pretty safe bet. But again, I feel it was deserving. All right. Now, does that mean we saw enough, though, of Wilder to convince everyone that he's back at a certain level? Okay? A certain level. And the answer is no, we haven't. We've seen, yeah, he's faster. Yeah, he has his speed back. You know, but is his stamina tested? No. Is his punch resistant tested? No. You know, really, is his overall skill set, is it really tested? No, it's not. What we should be happy about with Deontay Wilder is he's back in action. He got back into the ring. He did his thing. Bars. That's what we should be concerned with. But, you know, Malik Scott is on high because he's seen some things, knowing what they worked on, that convinced him that Deontay Wilder could beat all these guys, and, you know, he's not. But, yeah, is it going to his head a little bit? Maybe. It might be, you know, because I think he's ecstatic about the way that he handled Helenius. But, like, would that been Joshua? Would that been Andy Ruiz? Would that been Alexander Usyk? Would that be those guys? So you don't know if that would have been the same result. You know, maybe Helenius was shot. Helenius was older than Deontay Wilder, and Deontay's 37. So, you know, maybe, you know, that type of punch, we just seen that he can punch. If you ask me anything, I seen he was faster, and I seen that he could still punch like the Dickens, right? That's really all I seen. But him saying that, you know, Andy Ruiz is not a tough fight for a disciplined Deontay Wilder. Well, a disciplined Deontay Wilder is something that we haven't seen a lot of. Because even in the third fight, again, we look back to that because that's the last real fight that he's been in. And when I say the last real, when I say a test of a person that he knows that's capable of beating him, because he already done it. So that's why I say real. No disrespect to Deontay Wilder, but he's in there. He was in there with a guy that wasn't on the level of Tyson Fury, you know, and he wasn't focused in that either. He wasn't really focused in between rounds, because I've seen that fight. It's weird. I find myself gravitating towards that fight because it's in the queue of my YouTube videos, and it comes on, especially if you look at a video, then that's a high view video. So it comes on a lot. And I've noticed, while I was watching it, I've noticed the instructions of Malik Scott, and he was really getting in Wilder's ass and reminding him, like, don't stay lackadaisical, like, don't get in this lackadaisical state. Stay focused, stay consistent. You know what I mean? And if you have to keep telling someone that, that's not the case. He couldn't be a disciplined guy. So maybe, you know, just maybe he's like that now. However, we don't know how disciplined he is because he didn't have any type of trial or tribulation in the last fight. They didn't get dropped like Fernando Vargas did, right? Okay, so that was nothing to get up from, right? It was just him landing, you know what I mean? There was nothing that let you know, like, okay, he's been working on this because we've seen it. We didn't see enough of that in one round. We just didn't. Okay, so there's a lot of question marks that are still out there on Deontay Wilder. So to say, well, I don't think Tyson Fury can, yeah, I think that's more of bragging rights, because what if he does beat Andy Ruiz? He beats Andy Ruiz, and then he will appear that much more, you know, feared, right? So, but all these other guys, the Tyson Furies, if looking at anything about this particular article, I would say they're trying to get back in there with Tyson Fury. You know, like let's go back and now he's saying, oh, well, his test is the Tyson Furies of the game. See what I mean? So I don't think Joshua, Usyk, or Andy Ruiz, that's really the only ones left, with the exception of Joe Joyce, right? So, you know, so you're talking about everyone else doesn't even, you know, measure up to this disciplined Deontay Wilder. So obviously, you know, they're really trying to see what Deontay Wilder can do with this disciplined Deontay than the Deontay of old. Nothing more, nothing less. You guys tell me what you think of Malik Scott stating that Andy Ruiz, along with Anthony Joshua, Alexander Usyk, and even Tyson Fury, cannot beat a disciplined Deontay Wilder. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!